folks, Garry here from GBL, the old church, 5-acre homestead. I'm coming to you from the entrance to our garden today, and I'm here to show off our big beef tomato plants. Remember, a couple of months ago, our grandson James planted some dollar store, Dollar Tree big beef tomato seeds in little containers in the house. It was still early spring and quite cold, so we had to keep the little seeds in the house and in the heat so that they could germinate and grow into some plants. Just look at them now. Just look at these monsters there next to me. These big beef tomato plants need some pruning today, and that's what I'm going to do. And you, my friends, you are invited to come along with us and enjoy the ride. I hope you'll learn something today as we prune these big beef, dollar store, Dollar Tree tomato plants. They're huge, and some suckers are on these that really need to come off. Okay, so we're gonna do that. But before we prune these big beef tomato plants, let's go back a couple of months ago and let's look at our little grandson James planting the seeds. Take a look at these clips. Big beef tomato plants, quite large now, compared to the early days when they were just little tiny seedlings on the other side of the outdoor kitchen. I moved them some time ago here in their current location so that they can get lots of daylight sun, and they've certainly taken advantage of all the sun that's been shining on them over the last little while. And we've been attending to them and watering them and all that kind of stuff. But we went away and we had a 10-day vacation, and the shoots or the suckers on some of these big beefs have gotten right out of hand. In fact, if I could zoom in, and I'll show you one there now, it's almost as large. It's almost as large as the main stem. I'm pointing to the main stem right here, going up here, and here's a sucker. Just look at it. It's almost as big as my finger. So that needs to be pruned. I have my regular scissors and my pruning shears there, ready to remove all of these shoots and suckers. We have some big beef tomato plants growing on some of these plants. So in order for the energy from these plants now to be going into the fruit, we need to remove any lower leaves, any lower branches, all of the suckers, so that the majority of the energy in these big beef tomato plants go to the fruit. Okay, and that's the goal of pruning, actually, is to prune your plant, whether it's tomato or some other plant, so that it maximizes the growth in the vegetable or fruit that you're trying to harvest or trying to grow. Okay, so you're going to join me now as I remove all of the shoots and all of the suckers from these 5 big beef tomato plants. Big beef tomato plants that we got from the dollar store. Okay, so we're going to start with the first one right here on the end, folks, and there are at least 3 suckers on this plant. I'm going to zoom in and show you 2 right now. There's one right there. It's fairly big, so that needs to come off, and then there's a smaller one right over there in that V. And for those of you who are new to growing tomatoes, especially big beefs, okay, those suckers need to be removed because they do take a lot of nourishment and a lot of nutrients from your soil, and that interferes with the growth of your fruit. So you really need to get those out. And they grow in the V's between a main supporting branch and your main stem, okay? They're very recognizable. As you can see, that one right there now, see? So there's your branch going out that way, and there's your main stem going off here. So we can easily cut that one out. So if I can keep my hand steady and my camera steady, I'm gonna bring my scissors in. Okay, so here we go, and I'm gonna put my scissors around this one, and right there, cut that one off, Okay, so I just removed that one. Okay, so there you go. I've just removed that sucker. Okay, now if you want, folks, you can put this in a little container of water, and from my thumb down, that will develop some root systems. Okay, and then that can be planted into a smaller container, and then once it got so big and hardy, it can be planted directly in the soil in your garden. Okay, now there's a large one there as well. Okay, that one right there. I'm going to try it with my scissors, but I might need my pruning shears. Okay, no, I got it. Just look at that one. That one's quite large. If I lay it down next to the other one, just look at that. Okay, so a large one and a little one. That has been taking a lot of energy out of these plants. I'm removing a couple of smaller ones here now. Look at that. Just from this one plant alone, I've already gotten 4. And I haven't even gotten that large one yet. This one right here, look at that. Okay, that needs to go, folks. Okay, now, that's a big one. Look at that. Some of the lower branches need to be removed too, okay? So we're getting fruit about there. So I'm going to remove some of these lower ones down toward the soil here. Okay. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to prune your tomato plants. You're not going to kill it or anything like that. You're just trying to make your plant a little bit more healthier, because once it gets so large and overrun with leaves and shoots and all that kind of stuff, the energy, the nutrients in the soil, whether it's in a container or in the ground, is not going to be able to maintain that large plant. So you do have to do the pruning. It's a necessary gardening chore that you have to do, folks. So like I said, don't be shy. Just prune away, okay? So, okay, I think I'm done with that one. I'm going to move on to the other 4 that I have here. Okay, I've pruned 4 of these big beef tomato plants here now, these dollar store tomato plants. Got quite the pile of leaves and branches and suckers and shoots, whatever you want to call them. So like I said, I got 4 done. I'm at this very last one here now, and this one does have quite a few suckers. Okay, showing you one right there now, a very large one right there in front of the camera. That one has to go. There's another one over on this side that's quite large, and there's a few tomatoes actually developing on these big beef plants. If I zoom in there, there's like 3 or 4 there, and they're not going to grow very large, folks, if I don't get rid of those suckers and shoots that's taking the energy away from these plants. Very important to get rid of them. There's one right there, look. Let's get you gone. There you go. Okay, we don't need you, buddy. I'll finish doing this last one, folks, and then we'll do a final wrap-up clip. Those 5 dollar store, Dollar Tree tomato plants that James planted back a couple of months ago, I have them all pruned now. I have the suckers removed. I have some lower branches removed. As you can see now, the plant can actually breathe, and some of those lower branches that were close to the soil that could pick up disease and that kind of stuff have all been removed. Okay, so the sun can actually get in there also, and that's great for these plants. So we have 5 of them there growing, and as I said earlier, we have a few big beef tomatoes starting to grow on some of these plants. So let's hope now that with all of these shoots and suckers removed in the lower branches, that they will grow nice and hardy. One final thing that I'll need to do with these very, very soon is I will need to get some stakes and stake them to support them. And I've got a couple of supporting rods now. I need to get 5, 1 for each container. Once we get some big beef tomatoes starting to grow and form on all of these plants, I'll begin the task of staking them, and hopefully they'll grow up to the top of Katie's porch bridge there. And they're growing quite well there now. They're about 3 feet tall there now in those red containers. So that's great. And hopefully they'll grow to 4 or 5, 6 feet. And we'll have some big beef tomatoes around the end of August, early September. Let's see. Folks, I want to thank you again, always, for tuning into our YouTube channel and watching our videos. Miss Betty and I, we appreciate you always sharing our videos and liking our videos, and of course leaving lots and lots of comments. And most importantly, we appreciate you subscribing to our channel. We are working on our 4,000 watch hour goal, and we're about 3,100 now, so we need 900 more hours to become an official YouTube channel, and we need your help to do that. And we appreciate you subscribing to our channel and watching our videos and watching our playlist. Thank you so very, very much for watching this video, and please watch all of our videos, and we'll see you in our next one. Thank you, and bye for now.